Kenyans, they're still nice, but when you compare them to the Tanzanians, they kind of are viewed as mean. But I just think oftentimes they're more honest, which is, a good thing, but also they come off a little bit more rash, or so that you'll get used to that. And as far as like talking to Americans or Europeans, they're still very nice. They're just not Tanzanian nice. So very kind people, a little more harsh than the Tanzanians, but tribalism is very much a part of Kenyan culture. I've mentioned a few times there's 42 tribes, and if you ask a Kenyan, like, who are you? They'll say usually their name, and they'll be like, and I'm, their tribe. They always, or oftentimes will say, and I'm Kikuyu, I'm Luya, I'm all these things, because it's very much a part of their identity and so forth. A lot of the time they will only marry people within their tribe or like cousin tribes, and they won't marry like across, like, because there are like tribes that are in conflict with each other, especially politically. And so that's why in the election times in Kenya's history, especially most recent history, there's been some conflict and some violence regarding the elections. But as a missionary, you don't have to worry too much about it. They make sure that you stay indoors during those days and stuff. So I know that Africa has like this stereotypical dangerous part of the world. I think you're fine. My mom cried when she heard that I was going to Kenya and Tanzania. I rejoiced. I actually my cousin served in Uganda, and I always wanted to go to Uganda, but I gotta go right next door, which I'm so happy. I love my mission. And so you'll be fine, be smart, but you're going to be fine. But back to Kenyan people, they know they're very tribalistic, but they're very kind and very honest. Like Tanzanians, they are so nice that they will often tell you that they're going to be there. But I think this is common in every mission, regardless of where you are. People promise that they're going to do things, but they don't. And so you just have to get used to that. Also, for both African nations, there is no rush or like hurry in Kenya or in Tanzania. In fact, they have a saying that's haraka haraka aina baraka, which means hurrying brings no blessings. And so like you'll set appointments, and just know that if you set it for 1 o'clock, that means that in their mind it's any time after 1. So it could be between 1 and 5, I don't know. So you just have to help the people understand what you mean by 1 o'clock. So I would jokingly say 1 o'clock Muzungu time, which is like white man time, and then they will laugh. And the thing is that like in America, we have like this conflict of race and other things. You should never be disrespectful or like make racist jokes, but you're white and they are not, and they know it. In fact, the little kids will come up to you and they just chant Mzungu, Mzungu, which means white person, white person, white person. And it's just something, it gets annoying, but you get used to it, and they don't really care about race. So it's not like, I don't know, you don't have this big conflict regarding those things. And if you're a white missionary, you soon forget that you're white, unless the little kids are chanting, and I don't know, you see yourself just as a Kenyan after a while, or a Tanzanian. Kenyans also, I mentioned this earlier, but they're hardworking if they have a job, but a lot of the time they don't. And so you'll see oftentimes men especially like just sitting around or trying to find work or just chatting with friends and other things, which can be discouraging for them. But my advice, some people get mad or they are quick to judge these people that seem to be just being lazy. But if you didn't have a job, what would you do with your day? I mean, it's tough. These people are willing to work. There has, because of some poorly planned like humanitarian aid, there's been kind of a tradition of reliance, which is not really their fault as well. But the people are good, they're hardworking. Just some traditions possibly need to be changed or altered within. It's not really Kenyan tradition, it's more just like recent traditions of reliance. But you'll see those and you'll understand what I mean when you get there. It's kind of hard to explain. Kenyans are great though. They're funny. They ride bikes everywhere in addition to like riding matatus and other things. And they stack everything. And same with Tanzanians. They'll stack, you know, pieces of wood like 10 feet high on their bike and just be pedaling around. And as missionaries, a lot of the time you'll have like competitions of who can get the best or funniest picture of something being put on back of a bike. So you'll see goats or entire families just all on one bike, and it's pretty funny.